Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna. So we will read from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, 13. This 20 points of knowledge. We read that, we should I'm doing translation part of it. Support translation is 2 points is humility, pride-lessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, stillness, self-control, and of objects, absence, creation, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from with children, wife, home, and the rest. Even-mindedness and pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All this I declare knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. The process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent man as being the interaction of the field of activity. Maybe you can remember in the beginning of this chapter, Tat Vikaram, Kshetra Kshetraga Tat Vikaram. Kshetra, field, Kshetraga. Can anybody share the screen? Kurukshetra, there is better. Indian connection is very low. Gulshan, can you share the screen? Okay, Gulshan, can you share screen?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Then, okay, you can share the screen. I'm making a co-host. Maybe I don't have a right to make a co-host. Chat, everyone rename, put remove report. No. Gulshan is co-host, okay. Chapter 13. This process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men as being the interaction of the field of activity. It's called vikar. So knowledge and vikar are not the same. Like we'll see what is knowledge. That is not within the not come in the category of Khetra. If not come in the category of Khetra, then they are not Khetra go. So maybe they are not Khetra, they are not Khetra go. It's clear? This is knowledge. The topics will discuss. It is not Khetra, not Khetra go. Might be something else. There is knowledge. It is not Bikar also. Bikar means byproduct of Khetra, but it is not that. But actually, this is the real process of knowledge. If one accepts this process, then the possibility of approaching the absolute truth exists. This is not the interaction of the 24 elements as described before. This is actually the means to get out of the entanglement of those elements. So these 20 topics we'll discuss in it now. That is not Kshetra, the 24 elements. On the other hand, how to get out from the 24 elements, so that is how that can be the product of Kshetra. Is clear? By this knowledge, one can get out from the Kshetra. So must be that is not the product of Kshetra. That is knowledge. Gyan. And through that Gyan, to whom to be known is Geo. That is Lord. This is actually the means to get out of the entanglement of those elements. The embodied soul is interrupted by the body, which is a casing made of 24 elements. And the process of knowledge as described here is the means to get out of it. Of all the descriptions of the process of knowledge, the most important point is described in the first line of the 11th verse. Out of 20, the first line of 11th verse is yesterday's. Moi cho ananya yogena bhakti abhicharini. Bhakti abhicharini in moi, in me. The process of knowledge terminates in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Ananya bhakti abhicharini means unalloyed devotionals, no alloy. So if one does not approach or is not able to approach the transcendental service of the Lord, then the other 19 items are of no particular value. If one takes to devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop with him. Like there are 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. So one quality is called Sharup Lakshan, Krishnike Sharan. Most extent, the devotee, so many qualities may be, but first qualification, Krishnike Sharan. Other qualities, Tatastha Lakshan, they may or may not be. Is clear? Tatastha. It may or may not be. But one quality must be there, that is Krishnike Sharan. So in the same way, the 20 qualities, one must be there, that is Ananya Bhakti. Other qualities will automatically come. But if one takes to devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop within him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yashasti Bhaktir Bhagavatta Kinchana Sarva Gunis Tattva Samashata Shura. All the good qualities of knowledge develop in one who has attained the stage of devotional service. The principle of accepting the spiritual master, as mentioned in the 8th verse, is essential. What is the Acharya Pashanam? The principle of spiritual master mentioned 8th verse is essential. Acharya Upasana. Even for one who takes to devotional service, it is most important. Transcendental life begins when one accepts a bona fide spiritual master. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, clearly states here that this process of knowledge is the actual path. Anything speculated beyond this is nonsense. As for the knowledge outlined here, the items may be analyzed as follows. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have satisfaction of being honored by others. It's so nice definition of humility. Please remember this. What is humility? Not to be anxious to be satisfaction of being honored by others. Anxious of being honored by others. Humility means there is no expectation of honor. The material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge, who knows that he is not this body, anything honor or dishonor pertaining to this body is useless. One should not be hankering after this material deception. People are very anxious to be famous for their religion, and consequently sometimes it is found that without understanding the principles of religion, one enters into some group which is not actually following religious principles and then wants to advertise himself as a religious mentor. As for actual advancement in spiritual science, one should have a taste to see how far he is progressing. He can judge by these items. The first one, amanittam, humility, adambittam, this is explained. Now, third point is ahimsa. What is the meaning of ahimsa? Normally, equal ahimsa is non-violence. So, non-violence is generally taken to mean not killing or destroying the body, but actually non-violence means not to put others into distress. I think you all have heard first time this type of definition. It means, first time means in Prabhupada's book. You have read in Prabhupada's book, but before coming Krishna consciousness, we never heard this type of definition of himsa, ahimsa. People in general are trapped by ignorance in the material concept of life, and they perpetually suffer material pains. So unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. I'm reading this sentence again. So unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. That means not preaching Krishna consciousness is violence. One should try his best to distribute real knowledge to the people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material enlightenment and leave this material entanglement. This is non-violence. I think non-violence definition is clear. Tolerance, amanittam, adamviddam, ahimsa, khanti. Khanti means tolerance. Kshamata. Tolerance means that one should be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. If one is engaged in the advancement of spiritual knowledge, there will be so many insults and much dishonor from others. This is expected because material nature is so constituted. Even a boy like Prahlad, who only 5 years old, was engaged in the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, was endangered when his father became antagonistic to his devotion. The father tried to kill him in so many ways, but Prahlad tolerated. So there may be many impediments to making advancement in spiritual knowledge, but we should be tolerant and continue our progress with determination. Why people give tolerance? This is suffering. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given nice explanation. Like Bhagavatam said, those who are non-devotee, actually they are dead body. And when dead body is breathing, that means they are ghost. So that means the non-devotees are ghost. So what is the purpose of ghost? To create fear. Ghost cannot do anything. Unnecessarily create fear. So that is the activities of ghost. Now, Ahingsha Khanti Arjavam. Arjavam Saralata. Simplicity. Simplicity means Vaishnavism. Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. As per acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential, because without the instruction of the spiritual, bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. So, what is about Amanittam Adamviddam Ahingsha Khanti Arjavam Acharya Parashanam. Acharya, simplicity, this one sentence, simplicity. Then Acharya Parashanam. From the next sentence, Acharya Pasana. Acharya Pasana means, as per acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential. Other Prabhupada is not essential. Simplicity is not essential. Shanti is not essential. But spiritual master is essential. Because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in spiritual science. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offers him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. Because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. If he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advanced without the disciples following the regulative principles. Or the regulative principles will be easier for one who has served the spiritual master without reservation. I am reading this sentence again. Please keep this line. See, it is very, very important line for me because I can understand. By my practice, I cannot go back to Godhead. Somehow or other, I have to please spiritual master. Because, I am fascinated, because a bona fide spiritual representative Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advance without the disciples following the regulative principle. What is a powerful statement? Without following regulative principle, he will advance. Blessing is so powerful. Sometimes people may misunderstand. Wow. Then why you should practice then? Then Prabhupada, next sentence, very nice sentence. Or you can understand in another way. What is that? Or the regulative principles will be easier for one who has served the spiritual master without reservation. So nice, both sentences. Acharya Parashanam Shaucham. Next word, Shaucham, cleanliness. Cleanliness is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. There are two kinds of cleanliness, external and internal. External cleanliness means taking a bath, and using clean cloth, taking bath and using the previous day's cloth, that is like elephant bathing. So taking bath and use clean cloth, washed cloth. Maybe people may misunderstand what is clean cloth. They cannot see that this sweat is it is clean thing. No, sweat if is there, this is unclean. So clean cloth means washed cloth. So that is external cleanliness. But for internal cleanliness, one has to think of Krishna always and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This process cleans the accumulated dust of the past karma from the mind. Shocham sthirjam, sthirta, sthirjam, steadiness, means that one should be very determined to make progress in spiritual life. Without such determination, one cannot make tangible progress. And self-control means that one should not accept anything which is detrimental to the path of spiritual progress. One should become accustomed to this and reject anything which is against the path of spiritual progress. This is real renunciation. The senses are so strong that they're always anxious to have sense gratification. One should not cater to these demands, which are not necessary. Like watching film, watching so many YouTubes coming in the WhatsApp messages. No need actually. The senses should only be gratified to keep the body fit so that one can discharge his duty in advancing in spiritual life. The most important and uncontrollable sense is the tongue. Tar moddhe jibbhavati lobhamaya shudru. If one can control the tongue, then there is every possibility to controlling the other senses. The function of the tongue is to taste and to vibrate. Therefore, by systematic regulation, the tongue should always be engaged in tasting the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. As far as the eyes are concerned, they should not be allowed to see anything but the beautiful form of Krishna. What does it mean? If we see something beautiful, we think this is Krishna's form. We cannot see everywhere Krishna. But here saying, they should not be allowed to see anything but the beautiful form of Krishna. That means, whatever you see, you should think beautiful is Krishna's beauty. That will control eyes. Similarly, ears should be engaged in hearing about Krishna and the nose in smelling the flowers offered to Krishna. This is the process of devotional service, and it is understood here that Bhagavad Gita is simply expounding the science of devotional service, nothing else. Devotional service is the main and sole objective. Unintelligent commentators of the Bhagavad Gita try to divert the mind of the reader to other subjects, but there is no other subject in Bhagavad Gita than devotional service. You can see the outside people who are reading Bhagavad Gita, thinking where the Pandita Bhagavad Gita, how much they have understood. But those who accepted Srila Prabhupada as Guru, for them, very easy to understand Bhagavad Gita. We are here, we sing Kurukshetra, there's so many places they are explaining Bhagavad Gita. It clearly shows that without disciplic succession, nobody can understand. Just I can give you an example. We 12th chapter, what is the question? Which one is better, personal or impersonal? Second question, yes. Moicho ananada bhakti abhivichar. But they are explaining what is the best. Immediately they come, answer is from 13 verse. What is the symptoms of pure devotee? So, but this is not bad. But the pure devotee's symptoms is equal in cold and bad, equal in dishonor and honor. When it explains that type of thing, is good. But why not telling before that? What is the answer? Question is the first, second verse is the answer. Then from 13 onwards, there is symptoms of pure devotee. But not telling that, whose symptom? They are telling that. It is not their fault. Everyone will not understand the same way. Just you can imagine, again I am telling, read Bhagavad Gita, read first verse, and search the answer from 13 verse. It's true. But whose? Is it impersonal, personal? Whose symptom? Personal worship or impersonal worship? It is not mentioned there. So why they cannot understand? Because they are not through bona fide disciplic succession. Simple answer. Next one, false ego. Amanittam, adambittam, ahimsa, khanti, arjavam, acharya pasam, shocham, sthajam, atma vinigraha. False ego means accepting this body as oneself. When one understands that he is not his body and this spirit soul, it comes to his real ego. False ego and real ego. Satya ahankar, mithya ahankar. Ego is there. False ego is condemned, but not real ego. I am the servant of Krishna. This is real ego. In the Vedic literature, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, it is said, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. I am a spirit. This is Aham. This is not false ego. This I am, the sense of self, also exists in the liberated stage of self-realization. The sense of I am is ego, but when the sense of I am is applied to this false body, it is false ego. When the sense of self is applied to reality, that is real ego. There are some philosophers who say we should give up our ego, but we cannot give up our ego because ego means identity. Jiver Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. How you can give up identity? We ought, of course, to give up the false identification with the body. So, purport is very nice. We should stop here because we don't want to rush. It takes one more day for this. Thank you very much. I'm in Kurukshetra. I'm sitting in Kurukshetra reading Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is my first time in my life. Hare Krishna. You are hearing from Kurukshetra like Sanjay is speaking. By the mercy of modern technology, you are sitting from your place and hearing directly from Kurukshetra, hearing Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Unfortunately, I have not read verse. At least we should show one verse. At least one verse we should read. Should read it up. Share one verse. Okay. We read this 5 verses. Amanittam adambittam ahimsa khantirarjavam acharya pasanam shaucham sthairjam atma vinigraha Indyate च vairagam anahankaro eva cha janma mrityu charavedi dukkhadosh anudarshanam ashaktiranavisanga puttradaro grihadishu nityam cha samachittattam ishtanishta upapattishu moi cha ananya yogena bhaktirabhyavicharini vivikta desha sevittam aratir jana sangsadi अध्यात्मज्ञान नित्यत्वम तत्व ज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम इतत् ज्ञानम इति प्रक्तम अज्ञानम जदत अन्यथा हरे थैंक यू प्रभुपाद की भगवद गीता जी की कुरुक्षेत्र धाम की गौतम
हरे कृष्ण गुरु महाराज धन्यवाद।